Hey guys, welcome to Progressive Watch. So, should the United States tax the internet? Well, let's look at it here. I'm going to give a little pragmatic example right now. So let's pretend you guys are a brick and mortar store, let's say Home Depot for instance, and your customers, whenever they go in there, have to pay a sales tax, all right, ranging from 5 to 10%. Versus myself right here, I'm Amazon, and I'm strictly online, and I don't have to pay any sales tax whatsoever. Would you deem that to be fair or unfair? Well, I think the logical conclusion we can come to is that it's unfair for you and your customers to have to pay a sales tax versus mine don't. In addition, online retailers have the convenience of not having to leave your home. So obviously, you already have an advantage if you're an online company versus if you're a brick and mortar store. So it's clear that the unfairness of this is a reason why we must invest in taxing the internet. But beyond that, in 2012 alone, Forbes conducted a study finding that alone, the United States lost $11.4 billion in taxable revenue coming from online sales. Most importantly, in my home state of California, we lost $1.9 billion. Now that is horrible and sad, and if you look at it, there's so many things that we could use this taxable income for. For instance, education is a great way. 44 states are in the red, or meaning that they're in debt in their education sector, and a grand total of $12 billion. Now, if we had that $12 billion, if we had that $11.4 billion in taxable income just from that 1 year, we would almost be even, and we would start to be in the green for our taxable income. In addition, continuing to get this tax revenue, we could invest in infrastructure. We are given a D+ by the Civil Conservation Society. So it's something we need to invest in. Healthcare, another thing that we can spend money on so we can invest in the future of our society. There's so many great investments that we could do that we're not getting from this taxable income. So in addition to the unfairness and the lost money we're getting, it's inextricably hurting poor and minorities. So as of 2013, as a study that I found and cited, 52% of families making under 30% have access to high-speed internet. Versus if you make over $60,000, you have a 90% access to high-speed internet. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the poor, and especially the poor making up the minority sector of our population, are the people that have to go into brick and mortar shops, so they're paying the taxes, versus those in the higher echelon brackets, well, they're the ones that get away and don't have to pay that sales tax. So they're forced the burden of paying those taxes. Why don't we as a country create an in-unison tax code that doesn't hurt the poor sector of our population that's already suffering? When using this, we have to use logic and looking at it. It makes no sense to continue on the current cycle. And most of all, this is a very unique point that not a lot of people will bring up, is that what this is going to do is this will allow more access and allow less fraud to happen on the internet. So what happened is we lost in 2014 alone. United States citizens lost $2 billion in revenue solely based upon fraud. But when you have more government intervention and more government oversight through the taxation process, you're going to lower the amount of fraud that's going through. So we're going to have less fraud. We're going to create a fair system. Remember, the goal of the federal government is to create equal opportunity, so this aligns perfectly with what the federal government wants. In addition, we're going to be able to not hurt the poor and minorities. Now, I know the biggest argument against this is that this is against the United States Constitution, that we can't force all states into that, and I completely agree. What I think is the best solution for this is to encourage them and to give them incentives through subsidies as a method to do that. And I believe the specific agreement that we should be using is the streamlined sales use tax agreement. Basically, it simplifies the tax code for brick and mortar businesses, and it encourages them to invest. It encourages states to use online tax revenue, because when they see the 5 to 10% that they can make off this, they say, oh, that's a great idea, how about we invest in it? In addition, another argument is saying that it's going to destroy business, it's going to cripple it, that you're going to have less business. Well, that laissez-faire mentality kind of is a destruction to both ends, because if you make so little tax revenue, then you won't have a society to fund for your education, your infrastructure, and your healthcare. In addition, slight taxes on corporations making billions of dollars of profit, such as Amazon, really? Do you think they're going to fall under? No. So you're not really going to have a large effect, because they're going to be able to adapt because the large profits they already make. So this is a great idea, and I really hope that they invest in it. All right, thanks, guys.